Our first speaker for the morning is YBhg Datuk Musa Haji Yusof, Deputy Director General of Promotion of Tourism Malaysia. Datuk Musa joined Tourism Malaysia in 1990 as the Assistant Director
continue to foster smart partnership and collaboration with both local and international industry players to further boost the demand for Malaysia's tourism offering. Focus on targeted and fast conversion markets will be heightened for more effective marketing, as well as the development of niche products and services, such as Muslim-friendly tourism, medical tourism, sports, and our Malaysia My Second Home program, MM2H. Moving forward, our marketing and promotional efforts alongside our branding initiative must be data-oriented in order to ensure maximum returns and exposure. Going into 2024, we will head towards the third phase of our strategic plan, Strengthen and Boost, which will also be the year where we're gearing up for the upcoming Visit Malaysia Year 2026, a benchmark that is hoped to bring us even further than our pre-pandemic success. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand at the crossroads of recovery and resurgence, we must chart a course that ensures a sustainable and inclusive future for tourism. Amidst the adversity, we have witnessed the unwavering spirit of resilience and passion among the industry members. I believe communities will continue to come together to bring about a positive change in this new dawn. Together, let us welcome the coming year with open hearts, open minds, and a commitment to build a brighter, more sustainable future for tourism. Therefore, at this juncture, I would urge, be it a public as well as a private sector, whether you are within the hospitality industry or out of the hospitality industry, to rally our efforts together for the Visit Malaysia 2026 trajectory in which it is a national agenda. It is not solely for Tourism Malaysia or Ministry of Tourism, but it is the 30 million Malaysians that having the citizenship of Malaysia, be it public and private, to work together and move forward together for the Visit Malaysia 2026. And this is 2024. Onward, we can push forward the trajectory, and basically 2026 for us to pluck the fruit. It is now the investment going to be done. So by that, again, I wish HLIB having a very fruitful discussion today. Unfortunately, I cannot be here throughout, and my colleague Datuk Megad and Shireen will be around. I think this is also part of health tourism as well as connectivity into Malaysia that I think our Megad will be talking about. So together, let us welcome 2024 onward in order to propel us for 2026. Thank you.
We will now open the floor for a Q&A session.
Hi, morning. My question is for Datuk Musa. Basically, a few days ago, here, Ram from Bloomberg. I just want to ask, a few days ago, I think the tourism minister revealed updated numbers about tourism arrivals until November, which is 23 million. I think the original target was 16 million. We have far exceeded that number right now, this year. But there is still, like you're portraying, that we are still not at the recovery phase yet, even though we have far exceeded that arrival numbers. Is this because of travel receipts not going to the pre-pandemic level yet, even though arrival numbers are quite high? Because I see like 50% of the arrivals are basically from Singapore. Is this like sort of like low-hanging fruits for us? Are we looking at other markets before we say we are truly at pre-pandemic levels yet?
Thank you. You are from Bloomberg, huh? Okay, I saw a list of medias here. But anyway, let me put it this way. The statement that by the minister, I think featured in the Star Online, that will be, there'll be a statement issued by the ministry later on. So basically it's a figure that prepared by the immigration. As you can see in terms of tourism, there's an equation into it. V equal to E plus T. V is visitor equal to excursionist plus tourist. The one I think the one that mentioned is actually E plus T. It is V, visitors. It is not a tourist. What's the definition of tourist? By UNWTO, if you look at tourists, is those people technically coming into the country and have to stay 24 hours. That's why there's a recommendation now, the MDAC. Have you heard about Jim now imposing MDAC? Malaysia Digital Arrival Card. For all of you going to Singapore, for example, 3 days before, you have to fill up that MDAC, the Singapore digital cards. Therefore, they would know that. And then meaning it is a replacement. Remember last time there's a white card in vacation, IM26. You have to detach it by the tourists, keep it in the passport. Those cards now going into digital. Because that card, that's why there's a piece be kept by the tourists and one kept by the immigration. But when they come out, they have to pass back, surrender the card. You match that card, it become one tourist. So technically, so it's one. So those actually is V. That's a data data yang menunjukkan pelawat. It is not actually a tourist. Because tourist, this is data yang is a combination of excursionists plus tourists actually. So I think Motek will come up with a figure on that. Okay, satu. Kedua, now we are looking at, the rule of thumb for tourism, it is always your neighboring countries will be your number one visitors. You look at Thailand, thanking Malaysia so much, because number one tourist to Thailand is Malaysian. Number one tourist to Singapore is Malaysian. Number one to Indonesia also Malaysian. To Brunei also Malaysian. So vice versa actually. So what we did now is that in terms of tourism Malaysia, we remove those coming in, what we call it, overland. We are looking at those coming by flights. In order for us to really looking at tourists yang beli package businessmen also, once they're coming in, then we tengok by flights coming in. For example, previously before pandemic, there was 23 flight, 23 flight kalau tak silap ataupun 13 daripada Singapore, from Singapore to Ipoh alone per day. You know why? Food. They're flying to Ipoh for food. So this is one of the things. Then some of business travelers as well. The one they Ipoh, then they boleh terbang dia naik ETS all the way up to northern. So this is where then always on our side, we also not only just yang datang ni, excursionists kita tolak. But don't forget, this excursionists also giving a lot of receipt to Malaysia actually. So actually this is the formula lah, bila kita V equal to E plus T. On our side basically we will look onto the T side, the tourist side. So that's what I was mentioning to Jeremy earlier. We always looking at the T side, and later on we will campurkan dengan E. That can be ni. So what we are looking at now in terms of markets, like currently we are looking, of course, our neighboring country, but kita slowly bukan tak tengok, we are still focused on Singapore, but we are going beyond to Indonesia. Indonesia, if you look at the figures tadi, dia dah one of the top, second kan? Because you only tap West and Central Indonesia. We are even talking about Eastern Indonesia. There's 48 million population there. Makassar, Sulawesi, Kalimantan, all these people, all these places. You just imagine Nusantara will be in Kalimantan. Once they're opening up, there'll be a lot of traffic coming in. And we get minimum Sarawak and Indonesia 10 CIQ. Currently, there's 10 CIQs. Plus the rest, you get more 12 or 14 CIQs. So these are the traffic that can come in. So if you look into if they're coming in, we want them to stay. That's why we work with if you look at this, contoh, some of these double-decker buses coming from Singapore, they have a plate Malaysia, but it's Singapore-owned buses. Transtar, 5-star, WTS, all these belong to Singaporean. They're registered in Malaysia because under ASEAN, they can have a Malaysian Sdn Bhd company. Vice versa, Malaysian can also have a private limited company in Singapore. So what they did, they are bringing in at least per company 38 trips into Malaysia. And they're not only bringing Singaporean, they are bringing in also a tourist that coming in through Singapore. Through our data, we get about 16% that coming through Singapore and then cross to Malaysia. 16% is not only Singaporean, all international coming through the borders because their connectivity to Singapore is a lot more than to our Malaysia. I hope that will answer you. Okay. Priority, short haul, less than 3 hours flight. Now we're going into, of course, China. This is medium haul, less than 6 hours to 3 hours is medium. Then beyond. Beyond ni long haul. Long haul we are looking at Europe, especially and Middle East. Why? Because their average length of stay is longer. Boleh? Thank you.
Are there any more questions?
I thought there's no Q&A.
Hi, Datuk. My question is, so the tourist numbers have so far, after the pandemic, been surpassing a lot of our expectations. Last year's numbers, I think it was revised up multiple times because the actual numbers that are coming in kept surpassing expectations. So for this year, where do you think the final number will end up by year end?
Okay, we, of course,
I think we have a 18 million.
yeah, 18
target,
million.
right?
I think we are talking about 19. 19? 19.1. We're revising to 19.1. If you remember, 1st April 2022, you know what we did? 1st April 2022. Not April Fool. We opened up our border. We opened up our border. Middle East already opening up their borders. Europe already opening up their, only, you know, we need to open up our borders because that will touch the livelihood of the SMEs, those operators, the bus operator who cannot pay the, you know, the loan for the bank and everything, hotel, because we are tourism, the first impacted and the last to recover. So basically we are looking at 19.1, and because we're revising, because a lot of countries also opening up. If you look at the data just now, even Mr. Jimling was talking about it, overall UNWTO said it's more than 80%, but if you look at Asia Pacific, slow, because China tak buka border. When we open up 1st April, China still locked down. We actually, just for a bit of your info, we had a ASEAN Tourism Forum in Brunei. Every January, we will have an ASEAN Tourism Forum, where the whole ASEAN country will tell the rest of the world where are we heading. So the rest of the world will come into ASEAN, and 2024 January will be in Laos. Laos, maybe how long there in Laos? So we can do some collaboration there. 2025, Malaysia will be the hosting, because we are, it's 10 years, you go by alphabetical. 2025 January, Malaysia. At that point of time juga, our Prime Minister PMX will become the chairmanship of ASEAN. So that's why we are doing the build up for 2026. Banyak lagi lah that 2027. Then next year gonna be, I think later on maybe Megat will mention about routes. And then this is where then we need to start pushing. And then once China tak buka, we'll go into the area. But don't forget that we're also pushing for the domestic tourism. 2019, for your information, this is where you can see the trajectory, because the compounded annual growth rate for domestic, double digit. But we can see already on tourism it's already declining. And because other competitors coming in. Vietnam now is a big competitor to ours, Cambodia as well. Last time we only have Singapore and Thailand, that's it. Now we got others as well. So these are the things that we are pushing in, because we start opening up. And of course now kita tak dapat lagi, because I think maybe you'll touch later on, connectivity. We have not come back to 100% yet. Betul Betul. So connectivity in terms of accessibility into Malaysia. So therefore, once we increase that, we can see it further lah. But I think this is where that we're looking at towards the end. The one that I mentioned, 2020, when we have that, we thought COVID would only be in China. Then it already transferred to Singapore. Then we said we have to change our strategies now. So we are changing it to. That's why after that, once into Malaysia, and then in March I think there was a lockdown. Then we totally change, become a domestic is our priority. So we are slowly opening up. We even suggested actually, the Langkawi International Travel Bubble was formulated much earlier, but it was up to the government to yes or no. But when we open up Langkawi International Travel Bubble, do you know which market they're coming in a lot? The European and the American. Because the millennial, they have zero risk on COVID. They they don't care, about COVID. So they are coming in. So this is a traffic that we have to look into. The only thing, our process to enter Malaysia is so tightened up. You have to have insurance of $50,000 US, blah blah blah. So it's hampered them a bit. So these are the things that we are positive. We can go into that. So we're looking at 2024. If we got the flights coming in, we can push it, because now we have a grant for charter, schedule and new airlines coming in. So we are working together with MHB. Thank you. Okay.
Actually, I have one more question, Datuk.
Ada lagi?
It's concerning the
Okay, satu je, satu last. Okay.
Datuk Musa.
Hi, Shirin, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Okay, Datuk, saya dah tukar portfolio. Now I'm with KPG. Okay, so but still same industry. My interest is that, okay, what would be your focus sub-sectors that you're looking at, and what would be your strategy for healthcare tourism? Thank you.
Okay, basically the other subsectors we are looking at, of course, working closely with health tourism. As well as currently we are looking at the MM2H. We had a session yesterday because we've been given the green light by KDN for us to start pushing, but we want to make sure everything is okay. In terms of policy, we will start moving. So MICE, another thing. Maybe since most of you is MICE, Meeting, Incentive, Convention, Exhibition. This is another focus that we have to look at. On top of Malaysia Health Tourism Council, actually we are working closely with you. We are going to do that because you have your year as well, isn't it? 2026, together, because Malaysia Health going to be a year for Malaysia Health Tourism in 2026 as well. So, but I would urge not only on your side, but also in terms of MICE, since I have the opportunity talking to the bankers today, and I saw from PNB, Bursa, all this, incentive MICE, MICE, Meeting, Incentive, Convention, Exhibition. MICE basically bringing the big convention into Malaysia. We have to bid 3 years before. For example, Roots Asia. We bid it in 2019, but it's going to happen in 2024. One thing because of COVID. So we are bidding, this is myself and us coming in, bringing all these big convention, 10,000, 5,000, all this. You can even help us to bid for all the bankers to meet in Malaysia. And then that's meeting. Meeting, for example, like this, we have Hong Leong International coming in or others coming in. And then incentive. A lot of fund move out from Malaysia because Thailand said, hey, Hong Leong, if you want to do incentive for 50 of your branches, come over to Thailand. We support you this, we support you this. Indonesia also doing the same thing. So we really want that because for you to bring those people coming into Malaysia. And perhaps on term of MICE, you can look into domestic MICE. Meaning instead of traveling to other parts outside of Malaysia, travel within Malaysia. You can fly to Sarawak. If you need to do 100 series, for example, 40 people, for 400 people, do it. 40 series, 4 packs, 40 packs, 40 packs, 40 packs. We did that. Then you realize, for example, we got companies like Continental Tires came to see us. They said, we got 2 plants, 2,000 workers. Where can we send them? Thailand calling them, let's bring this 2,000 to Phuket. We should travel within Malaysia. So Fuji Xerox came to see us. We got 10,000 employees in Malaysia. Where can we send them out? Don't send them outside, send them within Malaysia. So this is the MICE. I think it's more important. But you can look on the incentive parts, you know. Korea, for example, one of their biggest tourists is from Malaysia. Why? Of course, winter sonata. Secondly, because those Korean companies bringing their workers in Malaysia, those Korean companies in Malaysia, bringing their incentive to Korea. Bringing their incentive group to Korea. You know? All this is where then I think maybe we can look into this. Perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, being in the private sector, you can help us to push the traffic within Malaysia. And of course, others outside into Malaysia. Boleh? So I tambah sikit dalam ruang lah. Thank you. I think that's it. Good. One more. Okay. Okay.
Just wanted to ask on the Chinese tourist numbers, right? Because I think just now from the chart you showed there that China used to be third in terms of number contribution, and that's come off a bit. Of course, they only reopened early January this year, but I think not only for Malaysia but the rest of the world, the trajectory of Chinese tourists coming in has been less than expected.
Yeah.
So why is this the case?
Okay, I did ask them. You said, Musa, what happened to you all in Malaysia? It's also happened to us. Our businesses also, suffered. So they said, we would like to fine-tune within us, within China first, then we'll go out. So this is some of the sentiment we check with them, because a lot of the tour operators within China doing a lot of outbound also suffered actually. So what they say is that let us fine-tune within us, because they also have to immediately 360 degree become domestic, getting Chinese to travel within China. And secondly, there's a change in terms of policy at that time. You cannot simply send your group out because China is China, because they will still refer to the government. So because they have this zero COVID policy at that point of time. So but now they're opening up. You can see they'll be moving up. But the one that we surprised a lot more is Japanese market actually. Japanese open up much earlier, but their growth, they open up much earlier. It's about 40%. China is already moving up more than 60% about that coming into Malaysia. Although they're opening up less. I mean later, so later than Japan. But I think with this, another thing because of visa, we did push for this visa liberalization so long. If you remember last time, for the Chinese traffic coming in, when we introduced e-visa to China and India, there's two types of visa. One is e-visa normal, the normal one. Another one, we call it e-entry. E-entry, they just enter their data, print and travel. Fly to Malaysia as long as they bring all the necessary documentation that needed. And at that time also 15 days. So you don't have to wait for the, what we call it, reply from Jim saying that yes, you can come in. Unlike now, during COVID, they scrapped that e-entry. Even for India, we managed to convince KDN to pass us to get us the multiple entry. Through e-visa, you get multiple. Now, there's also no multiple. That's why recently we already discussed and PM agreed to liberalize some of this. Therefore, I think we can do. The only thing is that you have to use the MDAC lah. So you can track, you know them coming in 3 days before. So you can eliminate them before that. Because we do not want to increase the number of NTL. You know NTL? Once you landed, not to land. NTL stands for not to land. Once they're landed, if they're in a suspect list, the airline must bring them back. They cannot enter Malaysia. So we do not want that become so much issue later on. Yeah? Okay? Is it answer your question? If there's anything, you can get in touch with me. Okay? Thank you.
Okay. On behalf of Hong Leong Investment Bank, I would like to thank Datuk Musa for sharing his insights with us today. Now we would like to invite Ms. Lee Jim Ling, Group Managing Director and CEO of Hong Leong Investment Bank, to present our token of appreciation to Datuk Musa. Please give our speaker a round of applause. Now we would like to invite Ms. Lee Jim Ling, our distinguished panel of speakers, Ms. Stephanie, Encik Wan Karudin, Mr. Jeremy Goh, and Encik Amir Rizwan for a group photo session on the stage.